Hello, everybody. My name is Yvon Boutry, and I'm the security team leader at Proximus Luxembourg. I'm really proud today to do the introduction of this security event. I prefer to do it in face-to-face, of course, but it's a hard life, and I hope to see you soon. Don't hesitate at the end of the presentation to send feedback. It would be nice in order to increase the quality for the future. Now, I want to talk about the daily task of a security guy. Every day, it's more complex. Every time, we need to have control and visibility about many things like data, traffic network, behavior, user identity. It's a difficult and hard work, of course, to configure, to maintain, or to operate it. So I want to summarize this event in 3 words: quick, simple, secure. I like so much the first product that we will go to present today. It's exactly what I said. I'm gonna let Martina explain how Umbrella works.
Thank you for introduction. Yes, thank you for introduction and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martina Lubinska. I'm the cloud security specialist within Cisco. And today I want to talk to you about Cisco Umbrella. But before I talk about Cisco Umbrella and explain what is it and what it does, I want to first have a look at the changes that are happening today, not only on the security, but also on the network side. So to start with, things are constantly changing. We all know that. We also know that this year was a great example of how those things are changing and sometimes even highlighting how unprepared we are for those. So in order to understand why cloud security should be a fundamental part of your security strategy in total, let's have a step back to see how things used to work in the past and how they have changed in the past years. So first of all, if we look at how things used to work with network and with the security, in the past, all applications used to be hosted on-prem. So you had to be on your corporate network in order to get access to them in order to do your work. And branch offices would tunnel all the traffic back to a corporate data center over MPLs. So we can see on the slide that this internal traffic actually accounted for the majority. It was around the 80% of it. And within your data center, within your headquarters, you had your beautiful security castle built with the firewalls and other security solutions to make sure that everything that you have inside there is safe. And for a lot of years, this used to work. However, in a very, in the past 4 or 5 years, things start to change a lot. And we have seen the increase in the internet traffic. That's because a lot of organizations started to adopt the cloud applications, the cloud storage, and are running more and more of their workloads from the cloud. So now we can actually see that the percentage of the traffic switched. So it's not anymore the internal traffic that counts for 80%, but instead right now is the internet traffic that counts for those 80%. And this old centralized approach has right now facing the problem with the new approach, because if the majority of the traffic is coming from the internet, how do we make sure that it's secure? Because we don't know anymore where users are necessarily working from, how they access the network, not mentioning actually on the top of all those challenges, the Corona times. So we all know that, well, nobody planned really for COVID to happen. So the beginning of the 2020 was a little bit of a surprise to all of us and has changed our lives upside down. And most of the companies, and at some point all of them, had to actually implement the work from home policy with some companies actually implementing it permanently. And this has affected the security priorities of all of us. So a lot of conversations have changed from, we need a new firewall to can we have, please, a solution for a remote users. Why? Because none of us was ready for it. And on the slide, you can actually see the snapshots of the big fours that at the very beginning of the pandemic back in March started just to shout very loud how unprepared we all are and what they advise to do in order to actually manage all those changes and how those priorities should change. So from all those, we have all those challenges. So we not only have, just a general kind of progressive change of how network is built and how the security around it is built, but we also have the challenge of everyone working from home. And on the top of it, we have the kind of, the usual security challenges or problems which relate to customers having a lot of vendors and having problems or struggle to actually manage all those solutions, or having them talk to each other, exchange the information, which sometimes is a challenge, especially for those customers that just don't have enough of resources to manage all those solutions. So we have all those challenges, but the question at the end of the day is, how do you try to solve it, right? So how should we try to make it better? From the network perspective, the logical next step would be to look at providing direct internet access. So the traffic should go directly to the branch or data center from there to internet to make it more efficient. And from the security perspective, we should just be looking more at providing the security and protecting the traffic from whatever is the location. So from multiple locations and from the cloud edge, because if everyone is going to the cloud, it's just much more efficient to provide the security at the cloud edge. And that's exactly how Gartner came up with the SASE definition. So probably a lot of you in the recent months have heard a lot about SASE and heard its definition. So SASE actually stands for the Secure Access Service Edge, and the definition of it is on the right side on the green background. But SASE is essentially an architecture or a framework that combines several pillars. So it combines not only security, but also network and identity. And it has some of the cloud-native security functions like Secure Web Gateway, like cloud access security brokers, firewalls, and zero trust network access. And the idea behind is to deliver all those services by one SASE vendor. So if we look at the Cisco portfolio and we think about how Cisco answers to those questions, or what is the Cisco own proposal for SASE, for a lot of you who don't know, part of the Cisco security portfolio is Umbrella. And Umbrella originally comes from the OpenDNS. We acquired OpenDNS back in 2015, but OpenDNS started with the DNS resolution first, and later on added security on top of it. And across the years, across the timeline, we have added multiple security services on the top of it, simply because the market is changing, the customer needs are changing. And even right now with the SASE definition, we also see that the way of doing those things is changing as well. So on one hand, we have SASE, which is still evolving definition that will keep on changing. We also have Cisco Umbrella, which, although it started with the DNS security originally, has evolved across the years. And right now we have services like Cloud Delivered Firewall and CASB functionality that has been added on the top of it. So if we look back at the Gartner definition, actually Gartner does highlight the security pieces in it, specifically for the Secure Web Gateway, the CASB functionality, and DNS, and highlights how important are those services, but more important, highlights the fact that this complexity should be reduced by choosing one vendor who ideally should be able to provide all of those functionality or all of those services from different pillars. So Gartner advises on complexity, on reducing this complexity. And one of those components is the DNS security. And many of you can wonder why, because it's not usually the security requirement that we as a customer can have. But actually, DNS security is the first step in nearly all internet connections, and it is used by all the devices. That's why it's so important. It's an ideal first layer of defense to enforce security and to block any domains that are associated with malware, phishing, or any unacceptable requests. And that's exactly what Cisco Umbrella does. So as mentioned previously on the slide, I was highlighting how Umbrella evolved across the years. We have started with the DNS security because we think it's an easy and logical first step that can provide you a lot of protection, but more important, visibility to see what's happening in your locations, what's happening on your network, what are your users doing. If there are any attackers who are trying to infiltrate the network with different tactics, Umbrella will also provide you coverage and visibility for all the ports, so it will show you what is being done. So this is the first step that we see is very important and logical. So this is what we believe has a big importance, not only as a SASE strategy, but as a cloud security strategy in general. And then on the top of it, we have developed another services as well. So while we start with the DNS security first, we want to make sure that for those customers who have who have needs for more granular security and control, they can use the same platform, the same service, in order to enable those additional layers of security. So in the past years, we have developed services like Cloud Deliver Firewall with the layer 3, layer 4, and layer 7 in order to block any high-risk non-web applications and protocols. We have also added the Secure Web Gateway functionality. So once your web traffic is routed to Umbrella Cloud, the Secure Web Gateway can provide the URL level reporting in order to help monitoring the usage for investigations. So you can actually see what applications are being used within your network, how many of them are being used, which of them are maybe malicious or risky. It will also provide you the risk profiles and the ability to block certain applications depending on their risk score. And it provides you some antivirus and malware scanning capabilities along with the sandbox capabilities as well. And then on the top of it, we have the CASB functionality as well. So Umbrella provides inline CASB capabilities, including shadow IT, and that helps to stay your organization healthy and shows you which applications are being detected on your network and which of them might require your action. So the beauty of Umbrella is that it's a fully cloud solution. So there is no box that you need to add to additional stack of your current boxes. So it's a fully cloud solution, and that's first of all. But second of all is that you can easily and quickly start with a DNS layer security. So let me leave you with this secure internet gateway vision today. A cloud-delivered security platform built upon the key concepts that we have discussed today. Those are the core capabilities that are currently as part of Umbrella, but the product is still evolving, and there are more capabilities as we are changing, and as SASE is changing, that are being worked on. So if that's what you want, this is something that we want to share with you today, and so you can move to the cloud in your own pace, whether you want to start with the first step of the DNS layer security, or to move to the full speed, fully blown, full secure internet gateway solution. So with that, I will finish my part, and I can hand over to you, Nick.
I think we first have a demo from Yvonne, right?
Ah, that's correct. Yes, Yvonne. So I'll pass over to you instead. Oh, we can't hear you, Yvonne.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was in mute. Thank you, Martina. So let's do a demo, a short demo of the Umbrella product. I will go to share my screen. So, sorry, application. Okay, so this is the web interface of Umbrella. It's a really easy interface to manage. And I just want in this short demo to show you that in few minutes you can increase the security of your infrastructure just by clicking in 2 times. So you go to, you see here the screen, of course, but I don't want to go in deeper, of course, in the web interface of Umbrella. I just want to show you that you just need to do 2 actions if you want to activate your Umbrella. You need first to change your DNS forwarder in order to go to OpenDNS or Umbrella DNS server. So it's really easy to do it. After, you just have to define in the network the source IP from where you come. And that's it. With this, you start to be protected. After 10 to 30 minutes, the Umbrella cloud detect your environment, and you start to do real protection in real time. It's really easy. And if you go to the overview, you can find the different requests. You can create, of course, policy, but you have a policy by default. So directly you are protected, and after you can create your protection for your building if you want, for remote users, because you can use also not only Umbrella for protecting your infrastructure, but also to protect your remote user. And it's really easy to see everything. So in few minutes you will go to have visibility. You have visibility of DNS requests, but of everything. You can also see your apps and apps discovery. You see here a lot of information about what it is and what is the traffic inside your infrastructure. You can go directly on the report and to show the application. It's my network, sorry. You can see that people in the guest Telindus use PulseSecure, or the one NordVPN Squid, or CyberGhost here. And you can allow, you can deny this type of traffic, this type of application. And it's really easy. So that's it. It's just only to show you that in few minutes you can have a protection in your infrastructure, and it's so simple to do it. Thank you for your time. I'll let you go, Nick. I think it's now.
Yep. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Yvonne, and great presentation, Martina. It really shows you how the world is looking like after COVID, or even during COVID, for that matter. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how people are working right now, and how people will be working going forward. Because we saw for a while now that the perimeter, so the network is quite changing. It's also what Martina also said. People are moving from the office to remote, right? Right now during COVID, but we saw this trend already happening before that, of course. And we will see the impact of this years to come after COVID, I guess, where people are working remote, working from other places than just being in the office. I already hear stories from companies who are shutting down offices and selling offices because they don't see them all moving back 5 days a week after COVID, when this all settles down. We see also a trend towards more use of personal devices and mobile devices being used in the workspace. I even heard stories of companies who aren't even able to provide new employees with a new laptop because, well, there's nobody in the office to provide them with a laptop. So it's kind of hard to give them something. So they left out with only providing personal devices. So these are trends that we are seeing. And also the trends that Martina highlighted is the move away from having the applications internally to moving to cloud applications. And this is something that is really changing. And how are you going to access all those applications depending on where they are? And there are some business challenges attached to that, because how do you really know which users are accessing your applications and what are the devices that they are using, and how do you know for sure that these devices are fully up to date? Because in some cases you don't manage these devices, so how do you make sure that that these devices are up to date? And how do you know which person's accessing the cloud applications, not only the cloud applications but also the on-premise applications, and how do you make a mix in that? So these are really the business challenges that we see going on. And one of the things that we do this is to build zero trust around this. Is also part of the story that Martina shared with you, working on a zero trust basis, that you don't trust anybody until they made sure that you can trust them, right? So you can make sure that you trust the user as soon as he authenticates correctly. That is really the zero trust way. And for a user, it shouldn't matter if the user is working from an office, or is he working from home, or is he working from a Starbucks or an airport, once we're all allowed to travel again, of course. It shouldn't really matter where the user is working, as long as he's authenticated on a safe way. So how do we do this, and how can we make sure that we know which user is it, from what device is he coming, and how can we make sure that we do this for every application instead of just a few applications? Just to take a step back, what the zero trust concept is really protecting all your applications in the same manner, regardless of where they are hosted or how they are accessed. So it shouldn't matter for a user if the applications is hosted internally or is the cloud applications. For technical people, it's okay to explain to people, this is an internal application, so please use a VPN to access this application, and this is a cloud application, you can go there directly. For a normal non-technical user, this is not explainable. You cannot explain them what a VPN is and why you need a VPN and stuff like that. They only want to access the application, and you want to make it as easy as possible for them to do their work, but do it safely, right? So you want to enable every worker to work successfully, also from untrusted networks. I already seen cases where companies are eliminating the office and creating more like an internet hotspot with a coffee machine instead of a proper office. So you can sit there, you can work, you can do whatever you want with your colleagues, but it's just an internet hotspot. And from there, you access your applications no matter where they are residing. So the way of working in an office would be the same as you would be working from home, for that matter. So how do we do that? We make sure that we trust the user. So we make sure that we give the user the ability to authenticate on a proper way. And there's various ways to do the authentication, of course. You have push notifications available to you. You have soft tokens that are in the applications. We can work with SMS or phone call. We can integrate with security keys or with wearables. And biometrics is a hot topic at the moment. and paving the way for us to go passwordless in the end. This also saves you in the password resets, because with the NIST, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but that's an institute that already a few years ago stepped away from the idea that you have to change your password every 3 months, because if you have a decent MFA in place, it doesn't matter really if you change your password every 3 months, because every time somebody changes their password, they just use their old password and just add a number or whatever to it. That's not security, that's just annoying the user. So if you have a proper MFA, you don't even need to change your password every couple of months. You can only change it when you see a strange behavior going on from that account. You want to give the user the choice of what way to authenticate themselves. Maybe some users want to use the push notification. Maybe some users need to use a hardware token because of the environment that they are working in, for example. And maybe other users want to use wearables or biometrics for that matter. So it really depending on what the user wants to use. As long as you as a company are fine with it, there are different ways to do this. And the self-enrollment process and the ease of use is really important for this, because how easier the easier it is for the user to adopt these technologies, the more likely it is they will use this and not find any ways around it, if you know what I mean. So once we've established the trust in the user, we can make sure that we trust the devices that they are seeing. And we can do this on various ways. So we can check the mobile device, if the OS is up to date, if there's a Face ID or a passcode or a fingerprint enabled on the machine, if there's a screen lock enabled, and if the device is jailbroken or not. We can check those devices. We cannot manage those devices, so we cannot change these things, but we can see what it is, and we can build policies around it as soon as somebody accesses an application. This means that, for example, if somebody uses a personal phone for authentication and there's no passcode on the phone, you cannot enforce the user to put in a passcode, but you can block him from accessing an applications. And you can tell him at that point, please, we see that your mobile phone doesn't have a passcode on it. And by the way, these are the steps to make sure that your phone does have a passcode on it. So you immediately educate the user to making their devices more secure. And we can do the same from a laptop perspective. So we can see if the OSs are up to date, if the browser is up to date and stuff like that. We can identify if it's a corporate owned or a bring your own device. And we can check if an antivirus is running or not. And we can also check the location of the user, not a GPS location, but based on the IP addresses that the user is using, we can determine if this user is coming from Luxembourg or Belgium, or maybe he's coming from China or the other side of the world. And depending on the policies that you set, you can block him or allow him access, or maybe do a double check if we really know who this user is. So this gives you an idea of the device health that is going on. And you want to be able to do this for every applications, no matter where these applications reside. So it's a good policy to create a single sign-on policy. So the user can only authenticate once and may be remembered like for 44 hours or 8 hours, depending on the settings that you want, of course. You can give him access to all the applications that they want to. And you can give them access for on-premise and cloud applications. It's good fun to have an access gateway, like to have like an overview of all the applications that they can connect to. So that gives for a user also the ability to have a landing page where they start their day, where they authenticate once, and from there log into all the applications that they would need. And this gives also the ability to give third parties, so like contractors or people who are not working in the company, to give them access to the applications without the need of a VPN. So you don't need to set up a bulky VPN for those users. You can just give them access to the applications, and only to the applications that they need to access. We see a lot of stages for like a maturity model for these use cases, where in the first step, we start with confirming the user identity. So you make sure that you really know who these users are, and you do this with multi-factor authentication, of course. Then you need to gain visibility into what kind of devices that they are using. You build policies around the things that you see. So if you see what type of user is coming in and what type of devices they are using, you can build policies around what you want and what you don't want on your applications. You want to inspect the devices for a little bit deeper, like with antivirus, with bring your own device and company device, for example, and then building secure access to all applications. So these are the 5 steps that we see with a lot of companies, and it would be good to understand where you as a company are on this journey. Are you in the beginning, or are you halfway through, or have you completely successfully secured all access to all applications and have all the device insight that you would need from your employees? Now I think it's good to do a little demo.
Okay, thank you, Nick. I will show you the web interface.
Okay.
Of the cloud solution. Let me share with you. Okay, so to manage your Duo, you need to access to internet, of course, and you have a web portal. I just let me provide my password. Okay, and every time, like for every application, you can have the possibility to create a Duo push, text me, call me, or just only a passcode. Okay. For today, I'll just only go to your push. I think that you see my camera. I receive a message. Go on it. Okay. Sorry, it's like this. Sorry. Can put the code or to push. Okay. Until you go to the web interface, and it's like Nick said, you can see many information about your device, how to manage it. You can use different policy. You can also integrate and a single sign-out with Active Directory. I show you Active Directory or an IDP, SML IDP. So it's really flexible in order to do a single sign-on configuration. You can integrate your device to an SDM solution. So you just have to click on it and to configure and to choose. I can show you really quick. Okay, you can use AirWatch, you can use Duo Mobile, of course, you can use Intune, Mobile Iron. Okay, so all the MDM that you have today. Manage quickly your endpoint. You see here. Okay, I have an Android. I can check that all is compliant. I can see version. I can manage everything, and I can know users stick with this device, of course. The integration of the application is very interesting because you have so many applications. And I show you. Okay. I don't know. I have a checkpoint device. I go to checkpoint. I have the documentation. You just have to click on it, and everything is explained. And after you can create your policy. You want to use Palo Alto? Sorry. Palo Alto. You want to create a web portal? Okay. There's the documentation. You click on it. You have all the information. You just have to put this information in your Palo Alto and to create the connection between both. There are many applications. I don't know. I think that Nick have more information about it than me, but there are many integration, and you can every time use new application on this web interface.
Yeah.
So
yeah, correct. And there are a lot of integrations that we have available for every applications. So a lot of applications we are already completely built, like Yvonne is showing you. But if your application is not in the list, we also work with all the open standards that are out there in the market. So it shouldn't be that difficult to protect your applications. And the beauty in this is that you can change the policies that you want depending on the type of application. So maybe for really strict applications, you want to build stricter policies, and maybe for some more open applications, you don't want to have those strict policies. So, for example, depending on if it's a corporate device or is it a personal device, and depending on those policies, you can access a certain applications. Yeah.
Yes, right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. In the meantime, I saw a question coming in for Martina. Are you there? Why do you think that DNS security is important? It's not typical security requirement that customers have, is the question that we received.
Yes.
Could you respond to that?
I can answer it now, or we can leave it for the Q&A session. So I'm not sure if we have time right now, but I can just quickly reply. So Sophie, that's a very good question. That's actually one of the short points I made during my presentation as well. It's indeed not a standard requirement that the customers have, but why Cisco sees value in it is because DNS is the first step in connecting to internet, and regardless of which device or from where you're making the connection, you will always use DNS first. So actually, by looking at the DNS layer first, you would save yourself a lot of time, and also save some of the capacity and bandwidth of your firewall. So you can actually offload your firewall by looking at the DNS first, so you can detect a lot of the threats already at the earlier stage before the connection happens. So that's why we think as Cisco that it's very important in your security layered approach. Yeah,
thanks a lot, Martina. Yeah, so the dual part is finished. Martina will continue with the part of Securex. And people, please, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the question part, and we will answer them after the session. Thank you. Martina, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thanks, Nick, for the presentation. We will present now Securex. So Securex, nice name. We can assume that's a nice new weapon from Cisco to address cybersecurity threats. What's behind? We will explain it with Martina. We can see on this timeline the different security solution of Cisco. So you can wonder, is Securex a new product, a new acquisition from Cisco? Not really. Can you explain us, Martina, what's behind Securex?
Sure. So Securex, to an extent, it's a new platform. But what Cisco did actually, you can see on the slide overview as well. While we acquired some of the companies as Cisco in order to add them to our portfolio, Securex is actually the platform that Cisco itself has developed across the years. And that's because, first of all, there is just a need for that, right? So we can see that one of the main complaints from CISOs and from customers is the complexity being as the main concern about security in general, because there's lack of resources, there's lack of knowledge, lack of, or the complexity of the tools that have to work all together. So it just takes a very long time in order to understand what is the issue and how it can be fixed. So as Cisco, we realized that besides of just spending money to acquire another technology, it's also very important that we combine all the platforms, all the products by developing our own platform. So this is actually, well, we took our time because we wanted to make sure we do it well. But Cisco Secure is fully developed platform by Cisco.
And so Securex, I assume that's a new dashboard, a kind of place where you gather all the information. Is it just a dashboard?
Yes, so it's not just a dashboard, Laurent. So there are different definitions of it. So in short, it's an integrated security platform. But for all of you who would like to have more of a concrete definition, Securex is a combination of SOAR and XDR solution. So XDR is a cross-layer detection and response tool that just helps you to collect and correlate all the data across different security layers. SOAR, as we all know, is the security orchestration and automation response tool. That just helps you, if you have a team dedicated for that, that just helps you to correlate all those events. So Securex actually has the features from both of those solutions that are just combined in one platform. This is a cloud-delivered platform that just makes it easier for you in order to get information from all your security products.
Okay, so it will give us visibility and help us to address the threat part, as you mentioned.
Yes, so it's based around those three pillars of simplicity, visibility, and efficiency. In order to integrate all the products that you have. So on the slide here, you can see that. First of all, you can use the Cisco security solutions that are all backed by the Talos threat intelligence. But moreover, you can also use it for the integrations. You can also use the integrations with the third-party products. And the whole idea behind it is just to make it easier for you.
Yes, and on this slide, I can also see that I can see the name of products that some of our customers may already have. So we can link Securex with solutions that our customers have already installed and used today.
Yes, that's correct. So of course, while Securex is a Cisco developed platform, and of course we sell our own product within our portfolio, the main idea was also that, we are aware that you as a customer might have other vendors. So the idea behind the Securex is to make it easier, make it more efficient for you, and actually have those all products, regardless from which vendor they are, to talk together and have one platform where this all data is pulled to.
So meaning not only Cisco security product, but also third party and general IT and infrastructure solution. Exactly.
So it's also open to the third party products because we are aware that you are probably using more than just one security vendor. So we are open to an ecosystem of more than 170 partners. And we are developing new platform level integrations to connect with the third party technologies. So it's not just for Cisco products, correct?
Yes, I can see on this slide many names, well-known names of solutions that is part of our own portfolio at Proximus, but that our customer already use. And regarding the use case that you can have for Securex, can you explain us how you can investigate using this dashboard?
Yes, so we have Securex platform, and you also have the Securex threat response platform. So you actually have this one on the right side of the slide. So the whole idea behind the platform is that, first of all, if there is anything happening within your network, regardless from which product is that alert coming, you will see it in the console. And then from there directly, you can take an action. So the console will point you to the right product in order to take the right action. And you can use the Securex in order to have an overview from where is the alert coming. And you can use the Securex threat response, or what we used to call Cisco threat response for those of you who know the solution, in order to have the more visual view of what was the cause of the attack, if it was an email or if it was a malicious domain, in order for you to gain more information about the attack itself.
Okay. And that's not just to detect and investigate, but Securex can also be used to orchestrate. So there is lots of ways to automate and orchestrate through Securex, using the workflow which exists in the solution. And for instance, we have the use case of one of our customers. He already has some Cisco product, Cisco AnyConnect and also Cisco Umbrella. He's using Securex today to investigate and have an overview of the threats. He's remote workers working at home due to the COVID, and using their laptops, their corporate laptop, with AnyConnect agent and Umbrella subscription for protecting them. And he can use today Securex to orchestrate some response in case there is an alert on an end user laptop coming back to the Securex solution. It can trigger some automatic action on the AnyConnect. For instance, we could think about preventing the user which is infected or which has been identified as a compromise to tell to the AnyConnect agent to switch off some connection to the corporate resources. The user will be still able to work standard through internet, but access to corporate resources will be restricted. And it can be automated thanks to Securex. So combination of not only agent, VPN agent on the laptop, internet security with Umbrella. We can also think about integration with Duo, and at the end, visibility and automatic action in case of alerts on this end user, which is not in the corporate environment, but which is working at home and trying to do his daily work using corporate resources from home. So it was our presentation regarding Securex. There is a lot to explain about Securex. That, as you see, that's an integration with many security solutions from Cisco, but also third party. Great visibility, great possibility, many possibility offered. And we could talk about this some hours with Martina. But I propose, if you are interested to have a deeper presentation of the solution, send us an email or just give us a message in the chat, and we'll contact you to go deeper in the solution. So for now, I think that's the Q&A part. I hand over it to Yvon.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Laurent and Martina, for this really great presentation. So now it's a question, and I hope answers also, of course. So thank you for everybody to has followed our events. Now, if you have questions, don't hesitate. We will try to answer on it. We have a first question. Is I think it's for you, Martina. Is Securex SOAR and does integrate with other vendors?
Yes, so Securex is a combination of SOAR and XDR platform. So it's actually a mix of those two because it has some elements from both. And the whole idea behind them is to have the more visibility, but also to increase simplicity and decrease the time that you need usually in order to understand what's happening with your network. But essentially, it's a combination of both. So it's neither fully SOAR, it's neither fully XDR solution. It's a combination of both. That just gives you a unified view of what's happening within your network. And on the question if it does integrate with other vendors, yes. So Securex is a platform developed by Cisco that we within Cisco build ourselves. And of course, it integrates with Cisco products, but at the same time, we are aware that our customers use more than one vendor for security. So it is open to integrations with third parties. So there's actually a lot of, it's an open ecosystem that is open to a lot of our partners. So it's also open for the integration with other vendors.
And perhaps something that we have not mentioned, and it could be here we have the opportunity to address this point. What's the pricing model of Securex, Martina?
So Securex is actually, well, it's a platform that comes for free when you buy any of Cisco security products. So whether you have or Duo or Umbrella or any Connect, you already can use a Securex platform. So there's no additional cost for our existing customers.
So it's an interesting point. If our audience has already Umbrella or Duo or any Cisco security solution, they should contact us to check on Securex, because there is no associated cost of licensing to activating Securex. Very interesting point to mention.
Yes, thank you all. No additional question. So I just want to say thank you for people, thank you for your presence. Don't forget to answer to the question for the webinar, to know what you think about it. It's really important for us, so don't hesitate to send your feedback. So thank you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.